Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. We're doing a little bit of an Iceman buff deep dive. Do bear in mind that everything in this video is subject to change. Kabam will take on any kind of criticisms that I've given out. We're going to give some thoughts as we go through. I personally felt that this particular champion has been improved a lot, but still has a lot to be desired, especially when you look at this champion really will require suicide masteries to get some really decent potency when it comes to any kind of great damage. But it is still better from a base kit perspective and has utility factors as well. I don't think a man will mind me kind of like posting this. This is just something that, you know, this is the stats, or the, not stats, but the info that has changed about the character. In that, first of all, he gets Cold Snap, Frostbite, and Nova Flame immune, which is fantastic. Thank God that that's in there. And it does open up two things in particular, which we're going to go over in a moment when it comes to interaction. Base SP1 Cold Snap duration up 14 seconds from 9 seconds, so Cold Snap potency also gets a small bump up. Chance to trigger and 2 Frostbites on SP1 is now guaranteed, which is great. You can see the rotations benefit that when we talk about you know, how to approach this champion, what's the best champion, what's the lowest amount of hits you can get a champion done. Chances to trigger Frostbite up to 70% on crit from 35%. This means it may change the way that you look at your team kind of setup, which you're going to see in this video. And Kabam say you'll find that the Scorpion synergy is now flat rate when the OPP is Cold Snap. The Dependant is Cold Snap. The original synergy being uncapped was incredibly strong since it fed itself, and changing the synergy is what let us move some power into the base kit. Ice Armor is consumed on SP2 if his Ice Armor is active. This is the Professor X synergy now in his base kit. Another bump in his damage, and replacement synergy is just to give him a little juice versus purifiers. So yeah, there's a few synergy reworks. SP3 Cold Snap duration from 18 seconds to 9 seconds, and heavy detonation bonus from 0.40 from 0.25, which is important if you consider like you may want to be changing this the way that you approach champion. Are you SP1 throwing, then you doing heavy attack? Are you building up to SP2s, throwing them with a lot of the frostbites on? So that's something to consider as well. But in any case, let's get into the video and have a look at some of the better and interesting interactions. So first up, the great thing about the champion being and having these particular immunities, first of all, means that you can take the champion against, you know, other Icemen and as well against Human Torch. So there's great interaction with that. The other great thing about this champion, which you know, isn't so great, is energy adoption. Yes, 6.4.4, I wouldn't recommend going in against Distract, but the point I want to make with this is that before, if you went in the energy adoption, yeah, you'd be getting all those lovely cold effects on you and be like, yay, I'm Iceman, but I take ice damage. This is completely ridiculous. But in any case, that immunity aside, that utility aside, let's move on to the other elements that this champion is interesting at. So this is the buff in action. This is a 5-star. This is non-synergy. So non-synergy. And the rotation, again, this is down to you how you want to approach this. And whether or not it's a case of going, right, well, if I got this champion in as a solo just to help out, what is my kind of approach? And is it a case that you'll be throwing those SP1s as frequently as you like? And that's one way I tried to look at it. This is with Suicide Masteries, by the way. All footage today is with Suicide Masteries. And I would say that for me, I felt that without Suicide Masteries, there was something that was kind of like missing. But the damage is a lot better. Like, that's the thing. It's a lot better than what it is at the moment. It's, some would say, not on kind of like the God tier level. But then again, there's going to be a point in time where if you're a Paragon player, are you going to be wanting to rank for a 6-star and 200 signature, your Iceman? Maybe if you want to kick off a good amount of damage. FYI, if you want that particular information on Iceman as a 6-star, doing that, being that 200 signature, I will get that right in a moment. But yeah, 130 hits with a 5-star isn't too bad. It isn't exactly brilliant, and yes, it is Suicide Masteries. So we move ourselves over to the 6-star at rank 4, and in particular, this is non-synergy. So yeah, non-synergy with this champion. Again, same principle. How do you want to rotate around this particular champion? Do you want to be throwing SP1s and then detonating with a heavy attack? I definitely tried different methods out with this one, just throwing SP1s and allowing them to naturally fall off without throwing a heavy attack. But then sometimes I've got to throw in a heavy attack in order to kind of go, okay, what kind of extent of damage are we able to do with this? And also 200 signature, by the way. If you've got a 200 signature rank 4 6-star Iceman, you're going to do 8,208 energy damage over 12 seconds with the cold snap as part of the signature ability, which is it's not had a value update, by the way. That is being left as it is, which I guess is kind of important when you're facing off against the champion, that you're not going to take extensive amounts of damage. And especially, it'd be interesting to see what 7-star gets. Right, so that was non-synergy, by the way. Non-synergy Iceman, which did, if it kind of pops up briefly, 17, was it 79, I think, there. In any case, let's do some synergies, have a bit of fun. But look, as long as it's, I guess this is my concern. If I did non-suicides, would this be close to 100? I don't know if I would want to play Iceman without it. But look, utility factor wise, there can be some good uses for Iceman in different areas. Mainly for the immunities that the champion would have. And just kind of interaction. I do think this is going to be a very much on the fence type champion, but I don't know if everybody's going to be expecting every single rework Kabam do to be god tier. This is the other thing that you've got to really consider, like what's the expectation. And we've talked about this on the channel, Kabam expectation versus player expectation and the limitations that you might kind of experience. So I can definitely feel like it's not one of these Venoms, Magnetos. I'm just trying to think of some other examples of kind of like 100%, you know, or at least like 90 to 10% kind of like approval versus disapproval. But in case, I like this champion. I liked it more with Suicide Masteries, and I think that's going to be just a recommendation there. This synergy is with a Korg, Heimdal, and Angela and Arca synergy. The Arca synergy is all about keeping those frostbites on there a lot longer. The Heimdal one is to make sure just like kind of doing a bit more damage. And the other one, again, is just like that. The Korg one is just a case of like throwing the SP2 to get that Fury passive. And there was some good damage with the SP2 rotation, some very interesting numbers. I think if it pops up in a second, we'll be able to kind of we'll see that what kind of numbers we were looking at. I think there was like 100 odd K. I think it was with that. No, 80K. I tell a lie. 80K from that. I want to say it's the SP2. But what was the synergy that I was looking to kind of achieve anything with? So this was similar to the one previously. I just switched out that Korg one to fit in a Scorpion. So Scorpion's in there in order to tap into the ability of Iceman, which is that he has when he crits, he has a 70% chance now to do a Frostbite. And that's really what you can see in the right hand corner. We've got up to 13 Frostbites just like that, and a good parry heavy does a big kind of burst of damage, which is going to be very important. Now, in certain circumstances, when burst damage, energy damage is required, this can be very helpful, like if you're going against a Korg as a counter or any kind of like other situation. Or have to rely on some other types of damage that's not debuff based damage. So here's the thing. This particular synergy I started feeling a good vibe with this one, and it just definitely interests me. But again, it shouldn't be a case of like, champions should be able to be used in a solo confined, but if you are looking for synergies for content, then, you know, this could be something just simply adding in Scorpion would be enough. The Heimdal one, it's not really needed, to be honest, and it's not really kind of the be-all and end-all. It's just in there in order to kind of pad out the exhibition of this particular video. But here's the thing, we could quite happily do just Arcus or not Arcus, but I'd say Arcus and Scorpion, those two. And that'd be great, and a nice little interaction with that one. Two other champions fitting in. My last synergy to test out was this. It's going to be stripping out Arcus and tapping into Arcus and a few other champions and tapping into the crit rating. So we're trying to build crit rating. I settled on Wolverine and also Magneto with one other in order to kind of like pop off that crit rating. In order to make sure what we were doing was we were more frequently picking up Frostbites, which you can see in some ways, yes. I think the previous synergy, and again, this is all based on chance, like it's not guaranteed for me to be building up 13 Frostbites like I did before, but these seem to be building up quite regularly, and I went for a different rotation this time. I decided to play a little bit aggressively, go past the SP2 and save a little bar of power, be a little bit more aggressive, throw in an SP2 and see if we can get some damage. Wait until we kind of like just about to fall off with the with the pop. Nice. That was a lot. That was a lot of the frostbite there, and also a lot of burst damage. Sorry, I should have been more specific. Burst damage. So it was cool to see, you know. And I did an SP1, and I thought, okay, I'll do SP2, SP1, SP2, and see how that kind of works. Especially again with kind of like trying to play as aggressive as possibly with the rotation. And maybe it's a case like, again, I do this run with the same synergy and I get a different result when it comes to, you know, what the end result is with that damage. But 50k, SP2, rank 4 6-star Iceman, and we finish off this particular exhibition with a nice little 61 hits, 1 minute 4 to complete. Wasn't too bad. But as I said, like, my main kind of like thoughts about this champion is it's really cool, but I think that it's the suicide masteries that are really going to make this champion key. It's just going to be a case of like how you are interested in with your throwing of SP1, the recoil damage you get, and dealing with the situation that you have. That's really going to be it. Recoil, yeah, annoying. But here's the thing. Value only update, improvements, yeah, does seem like it's there. I just think that it's one of these situations of maybe a little bit more. Like, if it was able to do the damage that it did, non-synergies, in maybe about 50 hits with rank 4 6-star, you kind of think maybe that's where we should be lying, with a little bit more increase in damage of those kind of like chip numbers from, like, say, the frostbites. That I think would be just that little added extra to make it good. Because here's the thing, an unawakened version may really rely on that 8k in order to get them there. But again, that's debatable. I just think it's good, but I feel like a little bit extra could have been given to this particular champion on damage. But it's definitely a lot of improvement from the current update that's in at the moment. So yeah, maybe Kabam can up the numbers just a little bit, but that's just my thoughts on that one. What are your thoughts on this champion? Put it in the comment section down below. Check out some other content located on screen, and I'll see you all very soon. Much love and goodbye.